Back this past Friday, many people online, myself included, had predicted that Travis Scott and friends would likely be dropping the highly anticipated JACKBOYS 2 album, since it would be the best response Travis could really make against Pusha T's recent shots taken against him. He isn't the lyrical type capable of a response diss, but he is the bigger artist commercially, so overshadowing their album release by dropping the same night seemed like the next best thing. In a turn of events I don't think anyone really could have expected, the album didn't drop at the same time, but rather surprise dropped 2 days later. Given the time frame, the intent still seems to be as predicted, but why even bother now? Everyone who cares about hip-hop already listened to, and for the most part, already loved the Clipse album. Regardless of the odd lore, JACKBOYS 2 is here, and fans have been anticipating it for quite a while. So I'm sure it's great, right? Oh no. Pack it up, everybody, because unfortunately, this shit is pretty mid. To be fair, the diehard fans are definitely still loving it, and the album has its moments, but this is by far the worst accepted thing Travis's name has ever been attached to. And after spinning the project a couple of times, the lukewarm at best reception is completely deserved. The production is usually pretty nice, there are some good performances from everyone involved, but the album falls apart when you realize how messy it really is. It feels like there was very little forethought generally. There aren't many strong, catchy moments, and the song structures just aren't there. It all just kind of washes together. The actual members of the JACKBOYS collective are also just not as interesting as they once came across. Looking back, I can hardly remember anything Sheck West does on it. SoFago does fine, including a solo track, but feels underwhelming overall, and Travis just feels like he's clocking in for work. There's been somewhat of a narrative that goes around recently that it feels like he thinks he's so much more interesting than he really is these days, and this project is probably the best example of that. This might be a bit unpopular, but I think Don Toliver is the most standout performer here, because at least he sounds somewhat interesting vocally. He makes a big impact on what are the album's best tracks, such as 2000 Excursion or Velour, but it's honestly too little too late. Some notable features, most of which unlisted, do make appearances, but much of the same can be said about them. The track Where Was You with Future and Playboi Carti is one example of that, because two big names like them should have saved the track, but it still ends up pretty mid because of how disinterested they sound. NBA YoungBoy serves up a pretty good verse, Vybz Kartel isn't the worst thing about PBT, and Glorilla actually has one of the most lively and entertaining verses by far on the whole project. Sure is a shame that that track was absolutely butchered by Travis doing whatever the fuck this is. So that's just some quick thoughts on the new JACKBOYS album. Let me know what you thought of it or how wrong I am in the comment section. Would love to hear your takes over there. And remember to like and follow for more music related content.